Hey, it's Jave and Scott Stapp, formerly of Creed, doing your solo stuff now. So, just saw Alter Bridge up in Tahoe last week. Do you still have a decent relationship with Mark and the other guys? Or
yeah, man. Everything is cool. In fact, I was just in Orlando at a charity golf tournament, and we were FaceTiming.
Okay.
So everything is cool, man, and positive and all good.
Right on. I'm glad to hear that. Tell me, let's go kind of back to the beginning. Tell me about your childhood life. What was your relationship like with your parents? What was growing up like?
Wow.
I know it's a pretty
I'm in a therapy session here. Maybe I should lay down on the couch right here and kick my feet up.
No, I'm just curious. You have so much talent, you know.
It's my father left when I was 4 or 5.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember the exact time, and so it was just me and my mom and my 2 little sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have much.
Yeah.
And then the step family situation happened when she remarried, and I wrote about it in my book for anyone who wants to get all the details, because if we go into all the details here, we'll be here probably
a long time,
and you'll probably cry, and I'll probably cry, and but anyway, man, it's a survivor story.
Okay.
I mean, we deal with the we have to deal with the cards that we're given, and it's what you make of it. And so it wasn't perfect by any means, but here we are, and life is good.
So, okay, when did you know you had this musical bug about you? Were you one of the... Because when I was growing up, I used to play when the grandparents would come over, or when we'd go over to see my grandparents, I would pick up the shovel and the broom and the prodder for the fireplace, and act like I was playing the saxophone, or act like do the air guitar on the brush at like the age of 5 or 6 or whatever. And I got into music and did the performing musician thing and radio. Were you the same type of kid? Did you always have that in you?
I love music, and in terms of public performance.
Okay.
The first time that I was given the opportunity, I was 9 years old, and a wild kind of rebellious youngster, and so the music teacher said, "Hey, let me see if I can give him some redirection," and so I got put into the elementary school choir, and ended up getting all the solos.
Okay. Nice. That's a good compliment. That's gotta feel good.
So I got the attention of singing in front of an audience. The first song I ever performed was "Yesterday" by the Beatles. And
wow, you pick an easy one.
And it was picked for me.
Okay.
And
assigned to you.
And and I'll never forget, all the parents, it was one of those things where all the parents come to the school, and their kids are doing a performance. And I remember, just the clapping and everyone giving me this love, and the bug hit me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I remember, watching MTV when I was a kid. It was huge, back in those days. And I remember seeing a Def Leppard video, Photograph. And as soon as that guitar riff kicked, I had a tennis racket. I'm standing on the coffee table.
So which member of Def Leppard did you want to be?
I wanted to be the singer because,
Joe Elliott,
because he had, the model, girlfriend in the video.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at that video, and I remember looking at my friend Robby, and I remember saying, "Dude, that's exactly what I want to do when I grow up. I want to be just like him."
Okay. Wow.
So thank Joe Elliott, Def Leppard, and the boys, and his model girlfriend, who I think he probably married, that was in his video, for inspiring me to want to be in rock and roll.
Yeah. Do you remember when you finally realized, like, wow, this is it? I've made it to a pretty upper echelon place in the rock music business. Was it a surreal feeling, that moment that you were singing in front of the most people you've ever sang for in your entire life, and they're all there to see you?
Yeah, I there's quite a few of those moments. Mm-hmm. One off the top of my head, I can remember when we sold out Madison Square Garden for the first time, and just knowing that, like, you're in New York City,
Yeah.
And that whole saying, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And then the historic Madison Square Garden, and to sell it out, in record time like Creed was doing back in the day. It hits you like, man, we made it. Playing Woodstock in '99, and seeing as many people as you can see bleeding into the horizon,
right?
Singing every word to every one of your songs, so loud that you can't even hear yourself or the band because of how loud 500,000 people are singing.
Yeah.
That's another
It's
moment.
a heck of a charge.
Opening up the Olympics live on national television in 2002 was another moment. I could go on and on. Having number one records on the Billboard charts. I mean, it's just, there's so many milestones that I can look back on where I stopped for a second and had that moment of, my God, man, we did it.
Yeah. Was there ever a point where where it became a job because you performed at that level for so long, and it just seemed like every song went to number one?
Yeah.
Was there ever a point where you almost started taking it for granted but didn't really realize? You didn't do it on purpose, but it just, yeah.
It never felt like a job.
Right.
But definitely it got to a point where not knowingly, I was taking it for granted. I think for me, I got too wrapped up in everything that was going on after the show,
right? Yeah.
And on off days, where I lost sight of just how blessed and fortunate I was. I lost sight of my craft, and I lost sight of all the relationships and the people that never get any credit. That without them, we never would have been where we were.
Yeah, it really takes a team to get to that
huge
level,
team,
sure.
and even the team at radio, and all the people there, had they not played the music, the folks at MTV and VH1 and just every piece of the puzzle. Everything's happening so fast, and you're getting, for me, I got wrapped up in all the extracurriculars that come along with the rock and roll world.
Yeah.
That you definitely, and I definitely did, take things for granted. And I think that's something that, you can only learn by experiencing it and going through it, and I think that you had mentioned family earlier. I know for a fact, because I saw it with other people in my band, and other bands that I've come in contact with through the years. It's the guys that go into this that have strong family support and strong family connections, and a mom or a dad or a close family members that huddle around them when that success is happening.
Yeah.
Keeping them grounded.
Oh, yeah.
Helping guide them not to make mistakes. When you have that, I think that's a gift, and you should never take that for granted. And when you don't have it, I could tell you the story of what can happen.
Yeah, I've got a partner of mine who does the video channel here with me, Andy, and we are almost polar opposites as far as our political views, as far as our social behaviors, aside from the fact that we both like to go out and maybe have one too many tequilas on occasion and smoke a cigar. But other than that, he's militant, he's very hardcore, he's got the high and tight. And so when I need somebody to talk some sense into me and tell me how I'm presenting, that's the one person that I know I can trust that, he doesn't give a crap what I do. Right. He will give me the raw, honest to God truth to say, hey, you're screwing this one up, or we need to temper down, or whatever, right? So it's important to have those things.
Absolutely.
I don't know if, the fans really understand, and it might be tough for you to put it in words, the feeling of loneliness after you get off a long tour and all of a sudden there's not 80,000 people screaming your name, and you go back to reality, and it's back to wife, kid, house, day-to-day activities. Everybody's got to decompress and wait to get back in the studio to start working on the next record. How does that feel?
To describe how it felt back before I was married and had a family, I was alone.
Yeah.
So I would, the bus would drop me off at my house, and it was just me in this big empty house. And it's hard to go from, it's euphoric when you're out there, and the energy that's going back and forth between the audience and you. It chemically does something to your brain, to your endorphins, to your body, and also just your soul. It's a high you can't explain. And then when it's all gone, and then if you don't have anything stable to come home to, and you're left to yourself, for me, that wasn't a good recipe.
Yeah.
And I'm just thankful today that I still get to do this. And still get to experience that, and I come home to an amazing wife and 3 kids and an amazing family, and who keeps me grounded, and I get right back. Literally, I almost think they do this on purpose. I literally will get in after a grueling, long tour. I've been away, 2 a.m. and it's car line for me the next morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like right back into, it's like flip the switch, daddy hubby mode.
Daddy mode.
And,
wow.
And that's good, man. It's good. It's good for me to stay in that place and be reminded of what really matters.
Right.
What reality is.
So Scott, that leads me to the next question. Why do you continue to do this rigorous record tour? I would imagine that the royalties from what you were able to do with Creed, you guys can live a comfortable life and never really have to work another day in your life necessarily. I get wanting to do it for the love of music, but why not just play at a local tavern once in a while with an acoustic guitar? I mean, what continues to drive you now? Because
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it, and also I constantly want to keep challenging myself to evolve and connect with another generation. You know what I mean? It's just an inner passion, an inner drive, and an inner motivation to want to continue not only creating and connecting, but building a new legacy with a new generation, and so, that's a major motivational factor, and I think the other thing is it's probably a lot like a lot of people who work their whole lives, and have families and stuff. They like to work.
Yeah.
They enjoy what they do, and I'm not ready to sail away into the sunset. I kind of
just hang out on the beach for the rest of your life.
Well, I kind of did that.
Yeah.
For 3 years in Maui, from like 2003 or 2 years, 2003 to 2005, and I needed that decompression period after 10 straight years of touring and making records.
Right.
But something just pulls you back in. What's that movie, The Godfather? Every time I try to get out, they pull me right back in. That's kind of how it is, man. And I got so much inside of me, creatively, not only lyrically but musically, that I want to share. And I got more to say from a different perspective.
Yeah.
I've lived. I've been through the highs of highs, and I've been to the lowest of lows.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm living life now with purpose.
Right.
And part of that purpose is to share my experience, and what I've gone through, in the hopes that others maybe won't go down similar paths, whether they're in rock and roll or not. And the other is to inspire.
Okay.
And to spark conversation.
Yeah.
And to get people talking and to move people.
Yeah.
It's an addiction, man.
Well, your wife certainly seems like a rock, and congratulations on that.
She's the rock star in the family.
3 beautiful kids.
Yeah.
Fatherhood will change any man. Doesn't matter who you are.
You're
Fatherhood will change you.
Yes, it will.
So you have personal and family success. To wrap up this interview, what would you say is going to be a good marker for you for professional success? What are you looking to accomplish with this new record from a professional success point, where you can lay back and go, yeah, I did it. That was good.
You know, I think continuing to see my music connect with people on a deeper level,
right?
And I've been so fortunate and so blessed at every show, at all the meet and greets, and every fans I interact with, telling me that, you know, this record or specific songs off this record helped them through a situation or connected with them on a personal level that was deeper than just, you know, rocking out.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a time and place for that, and I've got that on this record.
Yeah.
But I definitely, that's professional success for me. Writing and creating music that means something, that I feel that has something to say, you know, beyond, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah. Did you get stopped at all, by the way, walking over to the hotel room? Did people still recognize you come up and they're like
a little bit, yeah,
little bit.
Yeah. But I love it, man. You know,
That's
I
cool.
mean, it's so good to reconnect
Yeah.
and consistently connect with my friends at radio, man. Because a lot, you know, guys like you and many others, we've been in this at the same time for over 20 years.
Yeah, 30 for me.
You know what I mean? And so it's like we know the deal.
Yeah.
And you know, we've developed a rapport and a friendship and a relationship. And so it's good camaraderie, and that's one thing about this business, man, is it's all about relationships.
I agree.
It's about relationships behind the scenes and then with your fans too.
Yeah.
And that's the key. And I wish I would have learned that a long time ago.
No doubt. Scott Stapp, appreciate you coming in, man. Always great to talk to you. I appreciate all your candor, and best of luck with the record, man. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Thank you.